Thank you so much. First of all, I'm very glad to participate in this online conference because I just wrote for me a lot of information because I'm also a master's student at Kazakh-German University, specialty integrated water resources management. So thank you so much again. My presentation is about impact of water availability on women's health. And as my place of study, I chose Bulunkul village, which located in Pamir mountains, Tajikistan. Why I choose this place, I will explain a little bit later. So I think we can start our presentation. So what's the aim of my study, or in other words, why I choose this topic? First of all, to identify how domestic water carrying is performed. And the second, some potential health risk factors that we have to do this task. And the third one is this task can have, what kind of effects can have on women's health. So as I said, my place of study is a village which name is Bulunkul. Actually, it's a very small and teeny village in high Pamirs of Tajikistan. Near of this village located two lakes, which names are Bulunkul and Yeşilkul. Unfortunately, the water in these lakes is salty, so local people cannot use at all. And approximately 450 people in 60 homes live here. And a very interesting fact also that Bulunkul village is the coldest point of Tajikistan. And it's also one of the coldest inhabited places also in Central Asia. When we talk about that, it is one of the coldest point of Tajikistan, we can say that the minimum temperature record here was minus 63. And as I said, this village located in the high Pamir mountains, and as we know, high Pamir mountains are famous like rooftop of the world. So I chose this village to study because of these interesting facts. First of all, because we know that not everyone can go there and do their researches. And I can say that I was very lucky to go there because in 2018, I participated in an expedition which called From Glaciers to the Aral Sea. So that's why I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to be there and have my study. Actually, after my this trip, I am writing my master dissertation and my articles also about this topic. So I used like literature review, data collection, and so on. But separately on this method, I take interview from local people, and mixed methods, quantitative and qualitative data collection was used. What about the qualitative? I can say that I try to use principles of phenomenology because we know local people are not too, it's not too easy to ask them about their problems, how to estimate them, and so on. So most of my interview questions were they open questions like, can you tell me about your experiences of carrying water, or how do you think carrying water affects you? And also we collect some figures and some numbers, then we analyze them. That in next slides you can see the result of interviews. Actually, I also wanted to talk about some SDGs, some IWRM principles, but I think Alice very good, excellent, and very in details explain us that. Thank you so much. So just to show the problem, I want to say that approximately not approximately, actually more than 2 billion people in the world, they don't have access to clean water in their homes. What it means that they have to go somewhere and to take water. So the nearest water source for 2 billion people located at least 30 minutes away from their home. And so somehow have to go and bring water. And in most cases, most of these people are women or girls. I mean that they're who are responsible to fetch water and to bring water to the home. So after all this, till this slide, everything was something like introduction. Now we can start about what kind of factors affect women's health when they're bringing water, they're carrying water. The first one is individual factors. I mean that, first of all, gender, because we said in most cases women are responsible to carry water to home, not men. It means that men are more stronger than women. Also, we know that women are more vulnerable than men. But apart of this facts, even women are responsible. Also, we have also the factors like age, because not also women, also teenagers, the small girls are responsible to bring water in and sometimes also elder women. Another fact is physical conditions, because the person could be sick, or women in the case of pregnancy, they are still responsible to carry water. So that's why when we analyze the interview which we took in this village, you can see here in the graph that in 63 cases women are responsible. In 15% of them are girls, and 22 others are men. So when I talked about the individual factors, I want to attract your attention also in this picture, as you can see, because as you can see here, a woman is with her children and she's also pregnant. But when we asked her that you're still in this condition, you're responsible to carry water, she answered yes. So there are a lot of factors, but individual factors are, we think, very important. The next factor that affects is distance or time people spend to carry water. For example, after the literature reviews, I found out these figures from different points of the world. For example, here you can see that in African countries, in sub-Saharan African countries, when people go to bring water, it takes for them 33 minutes. In Asia, it's the 21. In some African countries like Somalia, Tunisia, and Yemen, it reached very high and is approximately 1 hour. In Malawi, 54, and in United Republic of Tanzania, it's 20 minutes. So maybe your question is, so some numbers are too high, some numbers are not too high. So how we can analyze it? According to the United Nations standard, one round trip to collect water should not be more than 30 minutes. So, but in most of the countries, you can see in the world that it's the more than 30 minutes, even 2 times more than the standard. So it can show the problem. The previous slide was about the figures and numbers about the different countries, but this number in this slide is specifically about the village which I study, because here in a typical day, household members go for water 4 times. And it means that in when they wake up and they need 4 times to go and bring water. Each time when they go to bring water, it takes for them 17 minutes. And let me to attract your attention that it's the average, because it also could be more than 17 minutes. It means that if we use math and we put 4 times and each time 17 minutes, it means that a woman spent at least 73 minutes in day to bring water. But as I mentioned in previous slide, according to the United Nations standard, it should not be more than 30 minutes. It means that in the Bulunkul village, it is almost 2 times more than 30 minutes. This can easily show the problem. After the time, the next factor that can affect women's health is methods of carrying water, because in different countries, people use different methods to carry water. When I just use literature review methods to study, I found out the most repeated methods in different countries of the world. I put just 6 of them here. As you can see in the first picture and in the 5th picture, women use their head to bring water. In the second, they use a wheelbarrow that is a little bit easier than others. In the 3rd picture, they use their back. In 4th picture, their shoulders. And in the 6th picture, they use their hands. Actually, in every method, it's very difficult to bring water, but in some of them, like when they carry water by head, it's had a worse effect than others. And also a very interesting moment I want to attract your attention, because okay, when we talk about carrying water, people think that it's one task. But if we start to study this task, we can understand that it's one task to carry water, but this task have 4 subtasks. It means that to bring water, first of all, women have to go to the source of the water and to fill water. That is also a task, because it's also very difficult just to fill water. After filling the water, women have to lift the water, just for example, put up from the ground and put, for example, on their heads. So it's also a task. And even, but after this, the 3rd subtask is carrying water, and then at the home, they have to load this water, just to, for example, replace to the different containers and so on. So unfortunately, in most researches which I read, most of the people just study the carrying of the water, and the other lifting, filling, and replacement in the other containers are missed. So I think that it's also very important just to study in details this task. And in Bulunkul village, in most cases, people go for water and food, that is 81%. Also, very interesting moment, because we know that water is a fluid, but water is heavy also. When we talk about the water, we just can imagine that we drink it, we use it, for example, cooking and so on, but we have to understand that water is heavy. And secondly, water is a fluid. It means that when you are moving water inside the container, it just can move, and movement of the water also make this task more difficult and more complicated. After all of them, also a very interesting moment that most of people miss it when they talk about carrying water is environmental factors. because as I said, Bulunkul village is one of the coldest place in Central Asia. It means that, but it means that women have to go to bring water in every conditions. It could be sunny, cloudy, stormy, snowy, rainy, I don't know, windy. So that also very make complicate and difficult this task, because it's very easy to be sick and so on. Another when we come to the how this affects women health, to study this, I used this scale. This is a Borg scale that during or immediately after a water carrying trip, we judge this scale to the women, and they estimate how they're feeling. For example, 0 means that they're feeling nothing, that it's not too difficult, and 10 is it was very difficult to them. So we give this scale to the women during the water carrying trip and after the water carrying trip, just to know their satisfaction. And after the analyzing their answers, we found that women complained mostly in 3 points of their body. First is head, that they have always headaches after doing this task, and the second point is their neck, and third one is their back. So they complained and reported these 3 pains. Also very interesting, because I found out this graph in the one of the articles that I put in the list of my references. If you want to read more, just that analyze show that just with a 14% drop, just when people in African countries decreased the time they go to bring water in 5 minutes, it reduced risk of diarrhea for 14%. And they then decreased the time of bringing water to home in 15 minutes, it caused to decrease diarrhea risk for 14%. That is almost half. That's why that most people think, okay, 1-2 minutes is not too important. We can just show these graphs to these people that not even 1 minute can play a huge role. For example, in this 5 minutes, and here we can have reduce of 14% diarrhea risks. So each minute plays a very important role. Actually, this presentation was just to show, to identify the factors of different factors of fetching water on women's health, but I just wanted to have some conclusion, very fruitful and conclusion to my presentation. So because in different studies which I read different articles, there are some theoretical solutions and so on, and but people need practical solutions. So I can say that first of all, the first solution can be that we can't solve problem of the people just immediately. That's why we can just teach them to make easier this task for them. For example, teach them lifting heavy objects techniques. For example, this way is not correct, but in this way you can just reduce the bad effects on your body. We can at least show them these pictures so they can learn very quickly. And second solution is this, that in most countries like India, most of the people are now practicing the water wheels. So it make, first of all, by using these water wheels, they can collect more water than these containers. And secondly, it make for them this task more easier. So there's this was just some practical and solutions that we can help them to, and so on. So and references which I choose, which I use, here you can find out them. Actually, it's the end of my presentation. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm just, you can write me by my mail, or here in chat, you can put your questions. I would be open to answer them. Thank you so much.